Hi, I'm Rob, and in this Gems of War video, I'm going to take a look in the Soulforge, tell you what I think is good and bad in there. I'm going to show you a really cool invasion team and a Underspire team at the same time. But first of all, let's take a quick look at this weekly event troop, the Rotting Serpent. What does this thing do apart from look, it stinks to high heaven? Diseases and poisons an enemy, creates 5 skulls boosted by decaying gems. Well, disease isn't that great, just halves the amount of mana a troop gets, and poison is very slow damage. Can be effective with troops that kill if somebody's poisoned, of course, but there's better ways of going about it than this fella. And create 5 skulls boosted by decaying gems, which decaying gems don't generally help the player unless you're losing the battle, which is still not that helpful, and if you're winning it kind of works against you, so not good in either case. And 5 skulls isn't that many. It's going to more than often set the enemy up for a skull hit than actually do you good. Yes, create a dying gem when I die is rubbish. Undying's okay, and all undead gain 2 life. Overall, that is extremely rubbish. 3 out of 10 for you, matey boy, but we'll get it to Mythic anyway. Always good to get another troop to Mythic level. That is pretty much all that thing is good for. Anyway, speaking about dying and things like that, I went to the cemetery yesterday to put some flowers on a grave, and as I was standing there, I noticed 4 grave diggers walking around with a coffin. 3 hours later, they were still walking around with it. I thought to myself, they've lost the plot. Oh yes, yes. You know you love it. You know you love it. Anyway, into the Soulforge we go. We'll look at the weapons first. Not going to go over all the ones that are in the Soulforge all the time, though. They're in my Soulforge extra video, and there'll be a link to that in the description below. Also, do not get the Rubble Rouser from here. That's going to be the invasion weapon, so pick it up from there, because you'll get it when you buy some tiers, which you're going to want to do to help out your guild, I presume. Anyway, it deals magic-based damage to the first 2 enemies, boosted by giant allies. So a basic damage with a boost. Very straightforward there. And what's the first new one this week? The Ice Aegis. Steal magic +1 attack and armor from an enemy. If the enemy is a boss, freeze all enemies and barrier all allies. So yeah, like basic stealing, but it is good because if it happens to be the top troop, then obviously you're taking away some potential skull damage, reducing their armor at the same time. Next up we have Doomed Hammer. Deal magic-based heavy splash damage to an enemy with a +4 per temporary level boost. Stun all blue enemies, cleanse all blue allies, explode 4 gems. If the enemy has a doom, explode 3 more. So obviously effective against blue. There are times when that would happen, when you're forced to play an all blue team. In PvP, for example, you know you're going to be facing an all blue enemy at the same time. So it can be effective for that sort of thing if the stun is going to seriously hamper their team. If they've got a Queen Bee or something like that, for example. Can be good in certain places. Still not one of the best doomed weapons for me though. It's just pretty good without being amazing. Axe of the Storm. Nice cheap on here. Just a mere 75 diamonds. And remove all blue gems with no effect. This is the kind of anti-Stormheim weapon in a way. They kind of really like blue gems. So by taking them away, you're making it harder for them to get mana. Then deal magic-based damage to an enemy boosted by the amount of gems removed. If the enemy is from Stormheim, if the battle is in Stormheim, deal double damage. Let me have a quick sip of my tea. It is required. Spectacular. Right, so yeah, nice and cheap, but don't discount it as rubbish, because they can actually help move on your kingdoms as well by picking up those cheap weapons and getting them powered up. Doomed Wand. Create 4 green gems. Bit of a funny one this, because it uses blue. Create 4 green gems with a +1 gem per temporary level boost, so capable of generating tons of green if you got this fully tempered up. And then give magic +2 armor to all blue allies. If the enemy has a doom, eliminate all armor from a random enemy. Right, so the fact this uses blue but creates a lot of green, and you get the boost to all blue allies, you've got to have somebody in your team that uses blue and green that is really good to get the most out of this. So if you fulfill those requirements, then this can be a very good weapon indeed, because the amount of green it generates is absolutely huge. The Ginormous Cleaver. Not just a big cleaver, not an enormous cleaver. A ginormous one. You can imagine the chat around the table, can't you, when they were thinking about what to call certain weapons. What should we call this, everyone? Someone sticks a hand up. Big cleaver. I think it's a bit better than big. Anybody else got any ideas? Someone else sticks a hand up. Enormous cleaver. No, oh, it's better, but it's bigger than that. Ginormous cleaver. Yes, ginormous cleaver. We'll roll with that. Deals magic-based damage to an enemy boosted by Stormheim allies. Then create a mix of 6 blue and yellow gems for each Stormheim ally. Uses purple and brown, so make sure you've got at least a couple of other troops in your team from Stormheim that benefit from that blue and yellow to make sure you don't miss out on it all. Wand of Stars, best weapon in the game. Can backfire sometimes, but the Bless is amazing, the Cleanse is amazing. And really, really good, and the Curse comes in handy too for lots of different situations. Absolutely fantastic weapon. It's almost too good. And the fact it uses all colours means it just goes in so many teams, it is a little bit nuts. So good to the fact it got banned in PvP, basically on the AI side of using things. So yeah, fantastic weapon. Just get it if you've got the resources. Absolutely amazing. What else we got? The Crown Horns. Nice explodey summoning weapon. Explode magic +1 blue gems. Grant a random status effect to all giant allies. Then summon a giant troop. Do like the explodey summoning weapons. Mana gen, status effects, summon for safety. Very nice indeed. Zephyros's Bolt. Shown its age. Not very good. Low amount of scatter damage. If Zephyros is on my team, who's not that great either, explode 5 gems. So you kind of auto forced to pick 2 troops here altogether. Like you're forced to pick this weapon and Zephyros to make it effective. So yes, still not great even with that. Onyx Blade though, do like this one. This is a good one. Deals magic based damage to an enemy, then convert 8 yellow gems to Uber Doomskulls. Now the cool thing about that is it actually uses a purple and brown, but it converts yellow away, so it's converting away a colour which so far you're not using. So if you don't use yellow in your team, for example, then this is a cool thing to do, because you don't want a storm on yellow either. You actually want a low amount of yellow gems. So if there's 8 or less yellow gems, you can see exactly how they're going to convert. And if they convert over any other Skulls create a 4 match, you're going to get an enormous amount of damage and a hell of a lot of mana back at the same time, because those Uber Doomskulls create a massive explosion. And any more for any more? We have the Enormous. The fellow that stuck his hand up to try and name the ginormous cleaver thing, put his hand up again for this. Enormous. Yes! Can't have enormous, we'll have Enormous. That's genius. You're in. You've named one. Well done. But it's a explodey summoning weapon. Very good. Magic +1 brown gems exploded. Random status effect to all giants and summon a giant. So yeah, do like the explodey summoning weapons. But let's take a look at the troops now. Going to start at the bottom and work our way up. And as ever, the ones that are here all the time are also in my Soulforge extra video. And I need another slurp of tea. So excuse me for a few seconds. I was going to say 1 second then, but people say that, don't they? And it's never 1 second. People say, I was going to go and do this, I'll be 1 second. No you won't, because as soon as you've turned and walked off, you'll be back already. So don't make it up. Yes. Well, they're going to go to the shop, which is like a minimum 5 minutes drive away. They've got to do what they're doing, get what they've got to get, queue up, get it, and come back again. And they get the keys and go, and they say, I'll be back in 2 minutes. No you won't. What are you, flipping Doctor Who? Anyway, enough being overthinking on silly stuff. Always take a quick look through these summoning stones. If you're a new player or middle player or just missing any troops in general, you're looking for any troops that are really handy. Anybody that's empowered starts with full mana, like the Bane and Mercy here. Really good. Starts battles with a full mana. Gives attack to the first ally, converts yellow to purple. Very, very nifty indeed. Any goblins, anything like that. Any goblins, gain an extra turn. Really handy. Any troops in general which are known to be good or generally just rather handy. Or you just like look at them. Why not? Get them. A Peng Long, Innkeeper, nobody too special there. Malcolm Desher, another empowered one. Yellow to green. Web and poison the weakest enemy. Pretty cool. Oops, wrong button. Leshy, not empowered, but still really effective. Really good. Only 8 mana. Gain bonus green from green gem matches and immune to entangle. Entangle all allied and enemies and destroy all green gems. So really cool, just entangling everybody. But he's immune to entangle. So he stays at the top and works pretty well against a Skull team, if you're a Skull team at the same time. Whoa, excuse me. Right, let's take a look at the mythics now. We'll start at the bottom and work our way up. Dragon Lord Luther is here all the time, so craft him if you feel like it. But the first new mythic is Archdruid Blackwood. Deals magic +2 true damage to all enemies, that's pretty good. Boosted by entangled gems, then disease them all. Disease actually halves the amount of mana on the entire enemy team in this case, so actually it's going to take him twice as long to get their mana until they get cured, so that's pretty useful for that. And does create 2 entangled gems when its turn begins, which A, helps his mana because he uses green himself, and also the spell is boosted by entangled gems, so that actually works really well with his spell. Is impervious as well, which is nifty, and a 24% chance to summon a Dryad on death. Doesn't sound that good, but for the first trait it's actually pretty decent, I think. Normally it's like give +2 to all +2 life to all mystics or something really innocuous, which isn't going to actually be that handy. If that comes in and you're having to die and you get a Dryad and that can save your game or make it more awkward for the enemy to win, then yeah, that's certainly a lot better than say +2 life to all mystics. So yeah, not bad at all, Archdruid Blackwood. Next up, we got the Dragon Gem on rotation. It's Garner Tarlin. It's a gem dragon, so if you're on the path to crafting Stellarix, and this is the last one you need of the gem dragons before we start working towards the cosmic dragons, then I would say potentially this is worth the extra Dragonite because it guarantees it. Because the thing is, if you keep on trying to just get these by chance, normally it's 5 to 1 against you because 6 dragons, and there's, you know, the chance of pulling this one, the chances are you're going to keep on getting duplicates. So I'd rather spend the extra Dragonite to get it, but if you're lucky you may pop it straight away, so it's player's choice, but I know that I'd rather spend the extra to guarantee it myself. Not really a gambling person, if it's to be fair. Next up we have Vernalis. Give magic based attack to the first 2 allies, give the same amount of life to the 2 weakest allies, and give 10 magic to the 2 strongest allies. It can be good, but you have to kind of build the team around him in a way to make it effective. That's why a lot of people don't use it. And probably the best Entangle and Fairy Fire troop in the game. Just Entangle and Fairy Fire a random enemy with matching green gems. That's all you got to do. And you get bonus green as well when you match green, and he uses green, so there's no reason not to be matching green when you use him. And you get that nice Entangled and Fairy Fire at the same time. So if somebody else dishes out significant damage, get them Fairy Fired, and this guy can help really damage the team. So pretty cool, but you don't see him used very much because he's a little bit specialist. Mistralis deals magic based splash damage to 1 to 4 random enemies, then jumble the board and gain an extra turn. She can be a bit random on her effectiveness, like that splash damage to 1 to 4 random enemies is where she can be a bit lazy sometimes. The amount of times I've had her in my team and she just does 1 punch, and that, I can't be bothered to do anymore. That's enough for me. It's unreal. I've hardly ever seen her hit 4 times. And I've used her quite a lot in the old Guild Wars. Because you use her in that quite a lot for certain teams. But Enchanted Wind is not the kind of wind you would normally class with being enchanted. Kind of wind that most people normally are associated with is the stinky kind, but I'm not going into that. And if it was enchanted, then that's something else completely. But enchant all allies on 4 or 5 gem matches is a absolutely fantastic trait. Really good. So Mistralis, very effective indeed, especially with that jumping on the board and gaining an extra turn at the same time. Really good. And we have Famine. There's the last one. Actually, don't mind Famine. Can actually be a pretty heavy hitter when used properly. Drain mana from all enemies, deal magic based damage to an enemy boosted by mana drained. So against a really mana heavy team, and there's quite a lot of them now, this can actually hit pretty hard. And aspect of Famine, first enemy loses 3 skill points on the start of each turn. Recover 1 armor at the start of each turn, and yeah, the traits aren't anything special, but it's just it's still not that great in Mythic to me all round. But it can hit quite hard when used at the right moment. Now, onto the legendaries. Let's have a little quick look at these. Queen Mab, she used to be really, really good in the early parts of the game, but she's losing her effectiveness now. Still good, though, if you're new to the game and don't have many or any mythics at all. Freeze a random enemy on 4 or 5 gem matches and gain 1 magic when an ally casts a spell is pretty cool. And mana burn all enemies, and if there are 13 or more blue gems, gain an extra turn, so it works pretty well in a blue storm. But there's quite a lot of troops now which are immune to mana burn, and that's the kind of thing that's kind of working against her these days. So not as good as she used to be. Who is next? We have the Flesh Horror. Eliminate all armor from an enemy, deal magic +2 damage to them and all enemies below. So you're trying to cast that on the highest troop up as possible, but obviously if you've hit them a few times with skulls, for example, then you're going to get less effectiveness from that eliminate all armor. So yeah, good, but only in certain situations. Next up we have Gurion. Convert green gems to blue and convert purple gems to doom skulls and drain the 2 mana from all enemies. And does have petrifying venom. Poison and stun a random enemy by matching 4 or more gems is not bad. You know, drain 2 mana from all enemies doesn't actually sound that much, but it's actually not too bad because, you know, say people are ready to cast. And you can actually cast that, and it just makes them take an extra turn. It's just gaining you a bit more time. So it's not a huge amount of mana, but it does actually slow the enemy down quite a lot. Is that it? It doesn't feel like I've done 4 legendaries. 1, 2... Oh, I missed these up here. King Highforge. I went past King Highforge without realising that. Poor King Highforge. Very good troop though. All dwarf allies start with 50% mana is sweet. And stun the last 2 enemies and deal magic +3 damage to them, boosted by allied dwarves, and summon a dwarf. So yeah, still you see him in the game quite a lot. Right, who gets my mythic of the week? It's not you, Famine. You definitely ain't good enough. Mistralis is very, very good. Venalis, good, but quite situational, and you don't see a lot of people use him for that sort of situation, for that reason. And our Druid Blackwood is actually pretty decent as well. It's between him and Mistralis, but because Mistralis is so good, and because that enchant all allies on a 4 match is just absolutely nuts good. Absolutely fantastic, and she does get an extra turn. And when she's on form and she does go around smacking 4 people in the face, then she can be absolutely fantastic. So Mistralis gets my mythic of the week. We're now on to the invasion team. Now, as ever, you must use the event captain. In this case, Held of the Grave, to benefit from that ×2 magic and ×2 score for this event only. And you pick her up from the shop at a tier 2. So grab a tier 1 and tier 2 to make sure you get her. And at tier 3 you get another weapon, Rubble Rouser. Pretty decent. Deals a basic amount of damage to the first 2 enemies, but it is boosted by giant allies. And has some okay upgrades at the same time, but make sure you grab at least tier 1, tier 2, but definitely recommended to grab a tier 3. Now, totally try and get your Held of the Grave to mythic level. This makes a massive difference, getting that ×5 damage on the spell and skulls. Really important to try and do that. Now, to do that, there's 2 ways to do it. You can either buy to tier 2, back out of here, and then basically use 2 Orbs of Ascension to get her to a mythic level. Other than that, you can have to buy all the way to tier 6, where you'll get enough copies of her to get her to mythic level that way. And if you're going to do that, you may as well buy that pack thing at the beginning where you get the extra Orb of Chaos. So do it that way if you so please. Right, but onto the team itself. Really easy team to use this. Going to start with her at the back because at the moment, at the early parts of the game, she's not that important. It's more important to have a Boulder ahead of her, but when the towers start appearing, we're going to bump her to the absolute front of the team to benefit from that awesome deal. 5 times skull damage versus towers, and when Boulder casts his skulls, she is just going to go absolutely mental, just blitzing through the entire enemy. So really good, and we can benefit from that destruction to the towers when they start appearing in singular form, or maybe even a double. But up until then, we can just create loads of skulls with Boulder, because it creates 4 skulls boosted by blue allies. Important to have a all blue team for this. And create stacks of skulls, gain 1 life on 4 or 5 gem matches, gain 1 armor when an enemy casts a spell. And there's quite a wide range of choice of weapon in this. I'm going for Oshia's Tome just because it's going to just be mental on the mana gen. Explode 4 gems for each blue ally and each elemental ally. With all blue allies, it's going to be like 16 gems exploded. Really good. And it uses different colours. It's got yellow in it, which means we can get yellow, blue or red to get this team going at the start. Going to be in a Titan class for this. Impact, counter attack, Thunder Fist. No, I've got to change that. That's not right. That's not right. Let's change that. Let's see what's going on with that class. Don't want Thunder Fist. Well, that's why, because yeah, there wasn't a lot of it was the best out of a bad bunch basically, so it doesn't really make any difference at all, that one. But Storm Aura, create a dust storm at the start of battle, is something we don't really want either. We'll have that. Don't really want a brown storm. We don't want anything to hinder our skulls. Rock Solid is good though when we collect brown. Lightning Strike is okay because we'll create lots of 4 matches, and Fortitude. Yeah, so that's good. But going back to the weapon, there are actually some cool choices in this. You want blue because you want to create as many skulls with border as possible. And if you type in explode, there are actually a couple of okay choices, but be careful because it is nice to get tangling. Because my initial thought with this is I want a weapon that creates tangling when you cast it to just basically protect our top troop, especially before the towers appear. So our Boral Crystal does do that, but it creates a Leaf Storm at the same time, which is green, so don't really want that. Other ones which are possibilities was the Eruption of Roses. Explodes green gems. We've got the summon. Don't care about the fact it explodes green gems. It will generate mana anyway, but it does have tangling, but it uses the same colour as border, so that kind of gets in the way a bit at the same time, which is kind of why I went for Oshia's Tome. If you've got it, the Ruby Macaque is absolutely great for this, but I don't like putting hard to get weapons in my teams just for the benefit of newer players as well. But if you've got the Ruby Macaque, stick that in there. It's going to be absolutely awesome for this. You're going to get all that true damage. You're going to get the explosion. Uses blue, uses brown. So when we get brown for this, you can get rock solid at the same time. So absolutely use the Ruby Macaque. If you've got it, really, really good. Banner for this, I'm going for the Lion Banner, +2 blue, +1 yellow, -1 green. Want to get that Oshia's Tome up as fast as possible. So let's dive in. You can collect brown just to get the barrier if you need it as well. But there you go, that's up, ready to go. Don't really need it. But yeah, there's one, lots of skulls. Here come a hell of a lot more. Bish, bash, bosh. And yeah, everyone's going to be very much dead very, very quickly. 3 times Medal of Seasons or Medal of Arania for this as well to boost up your attack. More attack you got, the more damage them skulls are going to do. With that Potion of Explosion as well, Oshia's Tome is going to go up really quickly. You don't really need it if Boulder's there. Look, just go nuts with Boulder. Add an extra turn over there, but we're not going to need it. Just keep on matching those skulls. A piece of cake. Let me show how easy this is when 1 tower starts appearing. Because that 50% mana start on the Potion of Explosion, the enchantment, things just happen so quickly. Both borders are ready to go already. Look, done. Finished. Just like kaput. See you later. You're gone. Finished. Bye. Arrivederci on your bike. Whatever. And we'll show how easy this is when 2 towers start appearing. After this, when 3 towers start appearing, it's when I'd probably start shifting Helder to the top. And you can shift her to the top now. And start benefiting from the extra skull damage. But at this point already, when we've killed 2 already, this is when you can start benefiting from that extra skull damage immediately. So certainly worth doing, but we can take 1 out immediately. And if we got another one, we're going to finish them off anyway. So yeah, about now is, I'd say, when it's good to maybe stick Helder to the top. So let's do this. Stick her up there. Still going to get red for border if we can, but we'll get that when we cast Oshia's Tome. But if we get purple now, or blue, Helder will be ready to go straight away, which is pretty cool. But you want to cast Boulder if you can straight away. So we're going to absolutely pick up some red. Here we go, here come the skulls, here comes the pain. They're going to be sorted out. Let's create more skulls with Boulder and just rip through the enemy. Oh, we're pretty unlucky not to get that last one there, but I'm sure Boulder will sort that out. And when 3 towers plus start appearing, if anything, it gets even easier because you get that multi, that 5 times damage even quicker. As soon as that kicks in, you start absolutely wrecking the opponent even faster. We can get that for Boulder straight away. Oh. Get rid of them, they're gone. More Boulder, tomfoolery. Yeah, very straightforward, and you can even use Helder to finish off if you didn't get a multiple skull drop. So super, super easy. And when the 4th tower starts appearing, it'll be even easier. So we'll make this the last battle. So remember, just really cool. You can even go rope dart with this. But obviously, it's not going to explode gems the way Doshi's tome does. Or you can go for a tangling weapon if you want to play it safer if you're a newer player. But yeah, absolutely going to wreck through the greatest of ease like this. No sweat at all. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. I'm just going to show the Underspire team very quickly because it is kind of similar to the way the Underspire, the Invasion team works. You can use a border in an all blue team to create absolutely stacks of skulls and rip through the enemy. Really, really cool. This is going to work really well in Titan class for this with the hero up top, because with the hero up top in Titan class you can have Enraged on a 4-match, which is really nice. We're still going to get our 50% mana start on Giant, which is sweet. But we can have Impact, we can have stuff like Counter Attack, we can have Blood and Glory, because you don't really want either of these two. Rock Solid though, still useful when collecting brown. Bloodthirsty, this is the key to this, become Enraged on 4 or 5 gem matches. When you cast Border, you get all those 4 matches. This makes the top troop, the hero, Enraged, and you get even more damage from all those skulls. And Fortitude. So very straightforward to run this. If you don't have that weapon, if you don't have the weapon, the Doomed Hammer, there are other choices. Just make sure it's blue and pick anything you want. I'll just pick this because it's kind of useful. Does some damage, stuns blue enemies, cleanses blue allies, and has some mana gen at the same time when we explode those gems. But if you don't have that, then pick anything you like, because the choice isn't that great. It's kind of much of a muchness, but it is what it is. And for the troops, there's still some good choices for this. Like if you've got Comothalas, you can have that at the bottom. That's going to be pretty good. Collect yellow and brown to charge that up. But it's not going to get a 50% mana start because it's not a giant. I've gone with Hindler. Splash damage, freeze enemies, summon. If you've got Mistralis, that's a very, very good choice for this. Going to get things going really, really quick. When you get that 4-match with Boulder, you're going to enchant all allies on 4 or 5 gem matches, so that is a really good choice at the same time. But let's see how this goes. This won't be as fast as something like with Mistralis, because that 4-match will just get the whole team enchanted, and then things will absolutely fly. But with this kind of thing, you're definitely looking to get Border up if you can. But with no red, we'll take blue instead. Border's up. We're Enraged. We don't need to do this excessive damage right now, but we will do, just to rip through the enemy nice and quick. As the stages progress, definitely worth getting both Borders up at the same time, so you can cast them back to back. So if you run out of 4 matches, you can cast the other Border, and therefore get a absolute little streak of damage there. Oh, we didn't get a Mana Surger. That was a bit annoying. But we did get bonus skull hits. We'll absolutely take that. And there's our red. Still 1 short. We've only got 3 enemies left. Let's cast this, see if we get a couple of little bonus cascades like we did, and rip through really, really easily. So it's going to be fairly straightforward with this. But like I say, Comothalas, whatever his name is, would be pretty good for this as well. Mistralis, really good for extra damage, extra turn, and get the whole team enchanted on a 4-match is a excellent choice. At the same time, we've got a nice little bit of blue there. We'll actually grab a bit of that. This can give us mana gen at the same time, but we can go with Hindler to get that splash damage, take him out early, finish, and Balder said, oh my god, I didn't get to do all my skulls. But never mind, mate. We'll give you a little tap on the head and say, well done, Baldy, anyway. But there's a video. If you enjoyed it, it'd be really cool if you bash that like and subscribe button. It really does help. But most of all, thanks for watching. Catch you again in the next one. Bye for now. Ooh.